I would say good morning, but it was not a good morning. What a deeply, deeply frustrating game. That was very annoying. Um, Man, awful, genuinely awful weather, which makes it impossible to play. Chelsea draw 0-0. It's a pretty bad performance from Chelsea in general, to be honest. I thought the first half, like given the conditions, was somewhere between good and acceptable. Like I don't think they were great, but I thought they were good, right? Like in the first half, Everton get actually nothing. You get a really good chance off a set piece. You get a really good chance from open play, and you get basically nothing aside from those two moments, right? Aside from those two chances, and by the way, FOTMob, I don't know what's going on there. Like the math is glitching out. Like these two chances are more than that on its own, so I don't really know what's going on with FOTMob. So like the totals are wrong. The individual stuff is there, but like the first half was pretty good, man. Like I thought Chelsea played okay. I thought they did what they were supposed to do. They gave up basically nothing in transition, and I thought it was a controlled first half. I thought they didn't turn the ball over like crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, and I thought, given how difficult it was to play, like you even saw ground passes getting blown around by the wind, which is nuts. Um, Even putting that aside, I thought Chelsea were fine. The second half is, in my opinion, easily Chelsea's worst half of the year. This or United. Like, I want to go back and look at the United one because I think United is probably worse. Yeah, the United second half is definitely worse. There's the penalty in there, but like Chelsea were pretty rubbish in that second half. Um, but the second half today was brutal, 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 and it's the same thing again where like the team dies on the vine with no subs. Palmer was gassed, and I get he's your best player and you want to leave him. He's gassed. He wasn't doing anything for you. Um, I don't know why it says two big chances missed. I don't know what big chance Chelsea had in the second half, but those are Everton. I'm blind. Uh, yeah, like I just thought the second half was rubbish, and like the subs come too late, and then Madueke comes in and is terrible, genuinely awful. Um, I think we can talk about there are other changes that we could make, but the second half was so poor, and now like you're in a really weird spot for Fulham, where Fulham are better than this team. Fulham are better than Everton. Fulham are like an actual good team that are difficult to play against, as they drew Southampton. They'll know whatever it happens, but like that's a much harder game, and like if you're gonna run out the same team, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Caicedo never gets tired apparently, but like these these four guys especially had zero in the tank. Zero. The tank was empty. There was nothing left the last 10 minutes. I cannot believe Jadon Sancho stayed on the pitch. So like I look at the Fulham game and I'm like, okay, are you going to do the full 11 subs? Because I would have rathered you make subs way earlier here so you can save everyone for Fulham, and then you rotate fully against Ipswich. But like, what do I know? So very frustrating today. Today is like one of the first games that I was like, Maresca, man, don't agree with most of the decisions you made today. Don't agree with most of the decisions you made today. Today was very, very frustrating soccer in general. See what's going on in the chat. Elliot Sherman, Goodison Park, shit weather, inconsistent ref. Yeah, I thought Kavanaugh was pretty poor today as well. A lot of stuff in midfield that I'm just like, I don't know. And I don't think he dealt particularly well with like all the Tarkovsky off-ball stuff, but yeah, very very predictable 0-0, as a few people are saying. I think I messaged this in like the 15th minute to Joe Tweeds that it was going to be 0-0. Total genius. Could we have inverted Caicedo, dropped Enzo to the pivot, and played 2 attacking 8s and Felix and Palmer to get more shots off? Yeah, we'll talk about that on the tactics board. That's the change I would have made to chase the game. No recipient of the Ellis Sims Memorial Award for the player you've never heard of scoring against us. Man, I thought this, like, what's his name? Lindstrom. Jesper Lindstrom. Never heard of this guy. Thought that might have been one. Both wingers having one combined shot is crazy. Yeah, Chelsea, like, let's just go to the tactics board now. We can talk about it now. Because I thought Everton actually did some things that they did really well, to be honest. This is how Chelsea set up to start the game. Okay? And whatever, I should really move all these people like 20 yards further back, but I don't think I can select them all and drag them, and I don't want to do that. This is how Chelsea built. Disasi right center back, Tosin in the middle, Colwill left center back. Gusto went to the left 10, Palmer right 10, Enzo Caicedo double pivot. This was very much double pivot game. It was not a diamond game. It was very much Caicedo and Enzo deep. Very much so. And Everton played a 4-3-3, and what I thought they did that was very interesting was they basically had the 8s and the wingers on like a pivot. So instead of having, like, what a lot of times we'd see is like the 8 would step and then the winger would come like this, and the 9 would lock, so you can't come across. But what ends up happening is you end up in this situation where Chelsea can get the 2v1 with the 10 and the winger all the time. This is how most teams 4-3-3 defend Chelsea. What Everton did was, if the 10 went to close Caicedo, the winger stayed home with the 10. And they said, if you want to pass the ball here, we will come double this situation and pick up every single time, and we're not scared of that. And honestly, it was the right call. It worked out super well for them because Palmer had his, I think Sam, CFC Central, tweeted it's Palmer's like 3rd lowest touch game ever. And the 3 ahead of it, or the 2 ahead of it, are games he played 55 minutes in or 60 minutes in that he was subbed early. And I thought it was a really, really good solution. And so what we saw a lot was that Everton basically ended up like this, with their winger picking the 10, the fullback like this, and they were able to defend with 6, and Chelsea could never get anything going in behind. They needed the like extra guy in here to do stuff. And again, the same problems we've seen with Malo Gusto over and over and over again, that like he's quite good at occupying spaces, but he's not a very good passer, and he's so loose around the box, and he's not scary. Like, Elliot Sherman, Malo Gusto popped up in unmarked situations on the edge of the box a few times, and Everton did the hilarious thing of completely leaving him alone. Like, have at it, son. Bro, he's Ben Simmons. He's not going to... If he shoots, you actually don't care. And it's not that Marc Cucurella is, like, magically better than him. It's not like Marc Cucurella is some, like, fox in the box, even though he scored a diving header and a right-footed goal midweek. It's not like Marc Cucurella is so much better going forward than Malo Gusto. It's that, like, Malo Gusto's a way worse passer in the final third than Cucurella, and Cucurella's a way better counter presser. So, like, if stuff drops, like, Cucurella just, like, vacuums it up and reconnects or whatever. And I think that was, like, a real miss today. So this is the first half, right? And in the first half, most of the joy Chelsea got was like transitions. Like the Palmer Jackson transition is from like a Caicedo regain at half, which was unbelievable. And then a corner. Actually, I'm quite curious on the set pieces, because I thought our set pieces were like kind of bad, but given the honestly, that's pretty good. Given the wind, you'll take that. I don't know what the second one is though. There's probably another header I'm forgetting about to get to 0.36. But regardless, that was the first half. The second half, the only change we saw was this. Which, like, I understand, because now if you think you don't need the extra player for ball progression to like move the ball forward, getting Enzo in this pocket makes sense. He's like a way better passer. He's going to get into the box more. Like I think there's a lot of value there in getting him in this pocket. But so somebody asked, like, could you have seen Caicedo invert? The set of changes that I would have made is I would have taken Gusto off and I would have brought Felix. So let's pretend that, I don't know, I'm just going to move you off the pitch and I'll bring another one. I don't know what number Felix wears. 14 or something? I don't know. I would have gone Felix for Gusto, and I would have had Caicedo be your left back to be here. I would have moved Enzo to the right, and I would have gone here. And then I would have changed both wingers. I would have had Felix here, and I would have had Nkunku here, because I still would have done the Nkunku sub. Actually, I don't want to take him off. I'm just gonna move you off the pitch and bring another one. I would have just brought Nkunku here, who is not 13, but I don't care. And then you do the Madueke sub at the end. That's the set of changes that I would have made. That's what I would have done. That's how I would have gone to chase the game. But like Jackson looked super leggy. Josh Otter, Nico's been off the boil for a couple games now. I think hopefully it's Nkunku midweek. Nani's dreadful in this game. Yeah, like I think Jackson looked really tired today, which is weird because like he's playing less than he did last year. So I don't really know what's up with that. But he's also playing 90 almost every week now, whereas last year we got a lot of Broja subs. Like I think he, yeah, I don't know. We'll see for Fulham. I could see an Nkunku start. I think we're going to see a pretty heavily rotated team for Fulham. We'll come back to it, but I think that's going to happen. But to me, this was the tactical story of the game. It was like Gusto was the guy that they asked to do stuff again, and he couldn't do it again. And like you've seen it 12 times now, he can't do it. He in the 10 spots does not work. And when he's the right 10, I feel like it should work more, and it didn't work more, and it didn't happen there. He's way better when he's deeper. Somebody tweeted at me this week, like, if Josh is good enough to play and you have Gusto, does that mean you try to sell Reece? And I'm like, no, I just sell Gusto. He's not that good. If let's say Liverpool, I don't think this would happen, but let's say Liverpool sell, like Trent leaves. Liverpool came and were like, hey, that Malo Gusto guy's good. We'll take him. Done. Take him. 40 million. Double money. Goodbye. I think he's fine. I think he's like a perfectly cromulent player who plays half to 2/3 of the minutes. Like I don't think he's great. He's like, if he's your worst starter, you're probably a pretty good team. Like that's where I'm at with him. Like I just think he's fine. He's very milquetoast to me. And yeah, as a few people have said, like ultimately it's 1 point gained from last year. Ultimately, it's 1 point gained. And it's a better performance. Like I added up all the things myself. This should actually be 1.1 because I didn't do the rebound scaling for the Gusto one. But ultimately, it's an improvement on last year. And like that's, I don't know. It's annoying for sure. I'll say that. It's definitely annoying, but it is better than last year. So we'll take the extra point. Chelsea getting awfully heavy in the chasing pack stuff. Like getting up to 79 would be pretty nice. Yeah, that's really all I have on that one. On the game, like the team, I thought Sanchez was excellent today. I thought he had a really, really good game. I thought he was very smart about taking risks with his distribution, when and where. I thought he makes the excellent save on the 1v1. I think the save in the first half on the strike from the edge of the box is really good. It's way better than people think because he catches it really nice and puts it in a great spot. Like I'm very curious to see where Opta have Yeah, like I think this is in a way better spot. Like it's right in the corner, in my opinion. So I thought Sanchez was very good. Ninja Gecko, how do you scale rebounds? This is how you scale rebounds. So let's pull it up. So here's the Jackson chance. Okay. So it's a 0.41 XG chance. So that's how the chance he scores. The chance he misses is 0.59, right? 1 minus the chance he scores. So all misses. The Gusto rebound only happens if Jackson misses. So the Gusto chance is a 0.22 XG chance. But because that chance only happens if he doesn't score the first one, it equals that probability times the miss probability, and you get down to 0.13. That's how you scale rebounds. So the idea is that, like, let's say you have like a like two massive chances, like you have a tap in on the goal line, and like you have a tap in on the goal line or whatever, and it's 90% chance, and it hits the post or the keeper saves it, and you get another tap in. You as a team should not get 1.8 XG for that singular thing. So what instead you get is you get 0.9 and you get 0.9, and then you get it scaled, right? And it comes down. So that's how you do it. It's yeah, as Elliot Sherman said, conditional probabilities. So if you miss, that's the only way you get the second chance. So that's how you scale it. Generally, the way people do it is at the team level, you do the conditional probabilities. So like Chelsea do not get the credit of getting 1.8 XG from one chance. Like Chelsea do not get the credit of 0.63 XG from those two chances or whatever. Right? But Gusto gets his XG and Jackson gets his XG, and those are separate, and in their tabulation they get everything. But at the team level, you only get the conditional probability numbers. So that's how that works. That's how most models handle it. Some people do, like Michael Cayley's model just takes the biggest chance in the chain. So if you have a 0.6 chance and a 0.2 rebound, the team only gets 0.6. That's pretty uncommon, but his model is one that does that. Most people do the conditional probabilities. Anyways, I thought Sanchez was very good today. That's my big takeaway. I thought he was really good against Brentford too. I think like Sanchez has had a few good weeks in a row. My guess is Jorgensen will play one of these games over the holiday. Not multiple, but I think he'll get one of them. I thought Disasi was fine. He got a lot of stick on Twitter. I thought he was like completely fine. He picks up a booking, probably deservedly. He had a hard time with Ndai at some points, but Ndai is very good. Like I thought Disasi was totally fine. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Josh should have started," but Josh played 90 midweek, and like today's a really tough game. Like imagine today, all the like Disasi Tarkovsky stuff on set pieces. Like that's a tough situation to throw a kid into. I think this is fine. I would expect Josh will get the Ipswich game though, but this is tough. I thought Caicedo was really good. A little bit loose in possession. And like I think the defending ahead of him was very poor today. Not his best game, but I thought he was pretty good. Thought Enzo was okay. Pretty useful as a passer from deeper, which he always is. I don't think he was very good defensively. There are a few transitions that I think were like, gross. I thought Neto is very good defensively and otherwise was very mid. I would have started Madueke today. Because I think it made more sense to play Neto versus Fulham, because Fulham have Anthony Jetty Robinson, who's like very aggressive as a attacking left back. And then you want Neto to track, who I thought tracked Mikalenko and tracked Doucouré and Ndai in wide areas really well today. Like I thought his defensive stuff was awesome. You would think that you would want Neto to play versus Fulham against a more defensive left back. But that to me is the one I'm like, I don't really agree with the rotation planning here, and I think I'm gonna be really pissed off the whole Christmas break. I think I'm not gonna like the rotation, and I'm not gonna like the team selections for the opponents, and I'm gonna have to live with that. But I think that's what's gonna happen. Very mid Palmer game. I think the funny thing is like Palmer doesn't play super well and still comes out with like half an expected goal. But I didn't think Palmer was very good today. Whew. Excuse me. It's an early one. Yeah, I thought he was very poor defensively. And like just didn't get on the ball. Just didn't get on the ball that much. And his dead balls were horrific. So poor. This Sancho was like back to the Sancho thing where he doesn't shoot, but again, I think a lot of why these 5 players were not good was a lot of how Everton chose to defend them. I thought Everton did a really, really good job. I thought they did a really good job. Palmer looked uncharacteristically indecisive in possession. Yeah, he had a few transitions in the first half where like the action Chelsea got a lot of in the first half. So Calvert-Lewin tried to deny Colwill, and you'd end up in this situation where like this was Gusto, like here, and this is Neto, go away, and this is Sancho, and we saw a lot of Tosin splitting to Palmer, and then you have Gusto, Sancho, and Neto going against the back 4. Right, like this, we got to this spot pretty often. We got to this spot pretty often, and like whatever. And now Palmer's driving, and like he just did not make great decisions at all. Like there was one he could have slipped Neto early. He doesn't. He drives and shoots wide. There was another one where like he just takes a horrible touch and then delays, and then the winger comes and pinches it off him when he could have played Gusto Sancho into a 2v1. And like some of those, I'm sure is. It's super windy and the ball's not sitting down and so on. But second half, like I thought Everton just totally shut down the middle of the pitch. I thought it was very, very difficult for those guys to get touches in central areas. Which is a lot why I thought like, okay, you can get Felix on, who's so good between the lines. It's so good. Yeah, that I think was a big one. Let's see. There's a few other things going on in there. And then I thought Jackson was like fine. You'd like him to score one of the 2 chances, and I think he was okay. Not great. I thought he should have squared the one he shot from the bad angle. I think Jackson kind of struggles with like the really, really physical guys who like want to wrestle. I think that's not really his thing. And especially if they're like gonna give him a few good kicks, like I think it's tough for him. I don't know. Neto struggles to get separation sometimes, receives square, and on the front foot so many times. I think that was a big factor of how Everton defended more than about him. I agree. I don't think Neto's great at creating separation, but I think that was more to do with today. City was pretty bad too for second halves. I don't remember it that way, but maybe. Let's see. Wrong City game. First half. I don't know. This is a pretty fine second half. Like 6 shots to 3, one pretty good chance in there. Like I think you're pretty happy with this as a half against City. Again, what we know about City now, like okay, it's a little different, but I don't think that's that bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that were like real stinky. Liverpool's second half wasn't great. You scored the goal. Actually, that's pretty good. I can't really be mad about that. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. Those are the games I got. That stink. Elliot Sherman, as the president of the Nico Jackson Fan Club Maryland chapter, I am biased, but in general, I'm cautious about inferring much of anything about anyone for this performance. Yeah, totally fair. Everton will get rid of Dyche at the end of the season. No, definitely not. Dyche is really good. Wasa, think he's trying to rotate too much in starting 11s and not using subs. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I've said it like 85 times now. Okay. There comes a point in every game where the tiredness overcomes the quality difference. Every game, there is a point where the tiredness overcomes the quality difference. And like, Chelsea look really tired at the end of a lot of these games. And because they're tired, the team is not good. And when you go, like, great, Chelsea, even if Chelsea make 11 subs for Fulham, right? So everybody's fresh. Like, they play a fully rotated team. At 75, those players are tired. It doesn't matter because Chelsea play fast. Chelsea play really fast. Defensively, they press very aggressively. Like, let's see what does McClockbach have? Like, they're a very, very pressy team. Very pressy team. So, I don't know. I think it's like pretty hard to I think it's pretty hard to play the way Chelsea want to play for a full game. And so when you get there, like, make the subs at 60 minutes, and you're way better off playing 60 and then 30 against Fulham to get your 90 minutes across those two games than you are to play 90 than 0. Way better from a team perspective. And yes, you only have 5 subs and whatever. That's fine. Like, I'm not saying you should sub center backs. And, like, you don't have a ton of options to sub Gusto at left back or Disasi at right back. Like, you don't have a ton of options there. And with Lavia out, you also don't have a ton of options in midfield. I understand. But, like, you have to, especially in the attacking positions, be aggressive with your subs to ensure that they keep running off ball and pressing the way you need. Journalist asked Maresca about his subs challenge level impossible. Yeah, big one. Like, I want to know why he doesn't sub. We're not. The questions are going to be like, oh, Everton's tough. Is this why you say you're not in a title race? See, you all said you're not in a title race and you played bad. Do you think if you were confident, you would have won the game? Like, the standard of journalist questions about soccer are so garbage. Every time, like, coaches actually want to talk about soccer. This is a thing. If you ask questions to coaches about the soccer, they will answer you about the soccer. You have to be, like, a little bit sneaky to not give them outs. Like, you have to ask them questions that they can answer. And sometimes they'll give you, like, garbage. But for the most part, if you ask questions about the soccer, you say, hey, I noticed this thing. Why did this thing happen? Like, if you ask Maresca, in the first half you had Gusto in the left pocket. In the 60th minute, you swapped him deeper with Enzo Fernandez higher and Gusto deeper. What did you see that made you want to make that change? You're going to get an answer about how he felt like he didn't need Enzo deeper to move the ball forward, and he thought that Enzo's quality around the box and in the box would have been beneficial to the team. You're going to get a real answer about that. But we're going to get 15 questions about title race because that's what everyone has to ask. And then we're going to get another question about, who knows, about yellow cards or something. It's just stupid. Like, ask about soccer and people will answer about soccer. Why do I think Maresca is allergic to Nkunku, Palmer, double tens? Well, I think Nkunku's played bad, like, for weeks. I can't tell you the last time I thought Nkunku played well. So I don't think the answer is Nkunku is the 10. I'd play Felix there before I'd play Nkunku. Like, Nkunku's not playing well. He was, like, pretty okay at the start of the season, but has, like, taken a lot of penalties. Like, I don't think Nkunku deserves to start these games as a double 10. But the real answer is, like, he doesn't defend enough, and Palmer doesn't defend enough. Like, if you want to defend 4-4-2 the way Chelsea do, you need one of those guys to be an 8, and it's not going to be Nkunku. Like, it's very, very difficult to get there from that. That's why we've seen, like, Felix as a winger has been a thing to get the double 10s you want. And then Cucurella holding width. I thought actually that was a look we might see today. That we might see Felix come for Sancho and have Gusto hold width. But we didn't. But I think that was one. And FS9, am I misremembering, or was Gusto not a decent right back last year? Gusto is fine, but the things that Gusto does well are like be wide and cross and like get to the goal line. And Chelsea's wingers don't do that anymore. And I don't think Gusto's been terrible. When he's been the right one of the three in possession, he's been way better. His progressive passing numbers are huge. I just think he's not a great pocket player. Like this is a guy that was a midfielder who got turned into a fullback and is now being asked to do midfielder things again. And like clearly he's just not that good at that. So like I think it's tough. I think he's being asked to do a lot of different things. And like he can't go into this pocket and like make the run behind and then cross, which I think he'd be fine at because Palmer's there. That's the one. We got a few questions. Felt like Madueke just gave the ball away. Yeah, really terrible sub appearance in my opinion. I thought he was like just not at it. It's a bit annoying how he never takes Palmer off. Pretty early in a game if he's on it and will last the full 90. I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think you have to judge. But I do think Chelsea could be more aggressive with taking him off. Like today, I don't think there was any benefit to keeping him on. He looked dead. That 1-1 against Palace still stings the nostrils. Has Eze scored from open play since? That's a good question. Probably not. Because I think he's been like mostly injured. Because he's always injured. That Palace game was super annoying. Same with the Forest game. Chelsea were so good in both of those games and very unlucky not to win. Very unlucky not to win. Let's see. Nope. He hasn't scored in the league at all since then. It's always nice. Just got one in the cup. Lovely. That's very frustrating. Any predictions about which Spurs team shows up today against Liverpool? I picked Spurs to win today. I bet on them to win. The odds were very high, and I think they're like good. I genuinely think Spurs are like a actually good team. Like they have very good players. They're way better when Maddison plays. This is like not great, but we'll see. I think Spurs are like a real team. Jonathan Bajomo. What do you think about Chelsea pursuing Davies on a free? I think we could use him in a lot of interesting ways. Unless Alphonso Davies is going to sit his ass on the touchline and run in a straight line down the wing, I have no interest. And I will say this as someone who has watched a tremendous amount of Davies for Canada and for Bayern and for Vancouver. I'm not really interested at all. I think he's going to cost a tremendous amount of wages. I think he's very immature. And I think he's very good. I think he's very, very good as a width holder. But, like, he's only a width holder. That's the only thing he does. I think there's a lot of value to what he does as a width holder. He's very good at it. And he's a very good transition recovery defender because of his pace. Like, the guy is an extremely talented footballer. But, like, he's going to get 300,000 euros this weekend, this year. Because he's going to leave on a free. He's not going to go for a fee. So, yeah, I'm not super into that. It was so obvious he make sub 60 minute, bring it on Kuko and Felix and go for it. Yeah, this is the thing. I think he should have been much more aggressive with his subs to chase the game. Like the risk of losing the 1 point if you get done is so low compared to it's half of the gain of you going for it to win the game. This is the other reason why I don't like Davies. He doesn't play. He gets injured so often, and it's always muscle stuff. So he had the heart thing too. I'll be really surprised if Madrid give him a ton of money. I think he's going to end up going back to Bayern for for good money. DM deep dive, since Lavia can't play. I don't like the DM market. I'd just bring Andre back. That's your DM solution, I think. Off ball, didn't think our press was as good as against Brentford. Guess due to player fatigue, but it would have allowed us to create one more 2 chances. Pickford, clear opportunity. I mean, they go direct a lot, right? Like, it's a lot harder to generate chances on the press when Brentford smash long balls over your head. Like, it's where are you gonna press? Like, if I look build-ups, they won the whole game. If I look at let's see what our old Mark Statspot is saying. Man United, Bournemouth. Yeah, like, I don't look at their progressive actions. There's nothing. That 10 fields of progression via pass for the center backs is crazy. I thought Tosin had a really good game. Tosin had a really, really good game. I didn't talk about the center backs when I looked at the team, I guess. Tosin was awesome. Super, super good game from him. And I thought Colwill was just okay. But I thought Tosin was really, really, really good. Yeah, like, they didn't exactly 72% build-up completion. They mostly just hoofed long balls. Like, Poch had a quote from, like, Spurs played who did they play? Southampton a few years ago, like when Poch was coaching. And he got asked, like, why he stopped pressing them, and he's like, well, why would we press when they're just going to kick it over our head? What's the point of that? So I think that is certainly part of it. Chelsea PPDA today is 4. That's wild. For reference, PPDA is passes per defensive action, so tackles, interceptions, and duels. That means Everton would pass the ball 3 times and then kick the ball. I've actually, I don't know if I've ever seen a PPDA that low. I don't know if I've ever seen a PPDA that low before. That's crazy. That's literally just like, yeah, hoof it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was really opportunities more to press on that one. Do I think Lewis Hall would be better in this Gusto type role? Fuzzbrain, yeah, for sure. Lewis Hall's a really good passer. But I think Hall would be in here. I think he'd be deeper, not as a width holder. Shawarma would really love a live watch along to see how Unk interprets tactics in real time. I might do one for the Fulham game because I don't have the day off, so I won't be able to stream after, but I can just go into work late. So I think I'm going to stream the Fulham game live. I just have to figure out how to, because you can't see this, but like, let me do this. Let me take this. This, like, the room I am in has my monitor on it, but my TV is not in this room that I watch the games on, and I can't stream the game. So like I can't put the game on this screen that I'm showing the tactics board on. So like, it's kind of awkward. I got to figure out a way that I can do it. So that is on the docket. Fulham probably will be streamed. Fulham or whoever we play the 30th. One of those games will be a live watch along for you guys with the tactics board, and we'll talk about stuff. It's in the plans. I do think it's hard for a player like Nkunku, who has basically told the start of the year you're playing as a 9 and you throw him on the last 10 minutes of the game. It's easy for players to get disenchanted when they don't see a real way into the team. I don't agree with this because he is I would be very curious to know if he thinks he's a 9. Like, I would love to know what position he thinks he should play. Because I don't know. At the same time, like, you get paid a lot of money. I don't care if you're disenchanted. Try hard. Like, you get paid a ton of money. Like, try hard. I don't know. I was like pretty. I was pretty confident that Nkunku would not be sold in the summer, like 2 months ago. But I've started to shift on that. Like, I could see it happening, and I think it'd be okay. Like, I think you could get other profiles that would probably be better for the squad if he goes. But he's a good player. Like, I would love to see him get a run of games as one of those 10s. I would love to see it, but I think it's tough. Rishi Lanan saw Jonathan David being linked to Chelsea again. Should we get him? We know you love him. No. I don't think he's I think given where the business has gone now, I think there's much less need for him in the squad. I think he's a very good player. I think if you got like the right deal on his wage demands, I'd be certainly open to it. If like Nkunku went, I'd be pretty open to it. I think he's a very, very good player. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the one for me. But I think he's very good and I like him. I certainly wouldn't be mad. But I think there's other profiles that are more useful to the team. Yeah. Maresca says he's more happy with this result than the Brentford one. His press conferences are so pep coded. Let me go look at these. This is just no pressure on the back line. This is another thing. Like, when the game was like this, like, you need pressure in depth, and it wasn't there. Is the strength of our roster a bit of a mirage? We're at a Jackson toe stub away from not having a 9, thin in midfield, and down to our 4th choice center back. Yeah, but Chelsea have a lot of injuries right now, and they're still pretty fine. Like, I think that's okay. Like, I think this is a good place to be. You have two center backs injured, like, and you have 2 center backs injured, and you still played 3 very good center backs and have a 4th one on the bench. Like, that's fine. Midfield, I think we're like maybe a little bit thin. Maresca has, I don't know, the rumors, the words, the whispers are that Maresca really wants another midfielder, especially if he's not going to play Cassidy. Like, there is probably a real conversation to be had about, is it worth bringing Andre back? Like, how many minutes is he going to get between Conference League and Cups? Like, I think I would really love to have had the ability to bring Andre on to save legs and all those sorts of things. Like, I would really like that. But if you're not going to sub more, like, there's no point. But I would be pretty open to moving. So they're just getting pammed, eh? I would be pretty open to bringing Andre Santos back and letting Cassidy go and doing it that way. And then up front, like, Nkunku's your 9. And Nkunku's a fine 9, I think. Like, I think you can totally get away with that against most teams. Chelsea have enough of the ball. I feel like Ugochukwu will come back before Santos. If Ugochukwu's playing games, something has gone very wrong. Something has gone very wrong. I don't rate him even a little bit. Like, I don't see it with him at all. At all. Another thing I worried about is Caicedo injury. This team has 0 solutions. Yeah, I think Caicedo is the only... I think Jackson going down would be really bad. And I think Caicedo going down would be really bad. And those are the 2 that I think you like would really struggle with. But like, you're getting into the same territory as all the other best teams. What happens to City if KDB and Holland go down? What happens to Liverpool if Van Dijk and Salah go down? What happens to Arsenal if Odegaard and Saliba go down? Like, it's the same thing, kind of, around the board. Like, teams aren't able to fade their best players getting injured. Like, I don't think that changes. And I don't think there's like another guy that's like, oh, we just have another Caicedo. Like, he was 130 million midfielder or whatever it was, 115 million pound midfielder. Like, you don't just find those guys. And maybe like Santos is enough of that guy. Like, maybe he's 90% of a Caicedo and just like, sick, let's bring him. I think that's a legitimate solution. And I would be super open to it. What not alarms me, but annoys me, we don't know what's wrong with Badiashile, and we don't know what's wrong with Lavia. We assume it's a hamstring and a muscle. I think he said it's a hamstring for Lavia again. But like, we assume, like, we don't know what it is with Badiashile. He just said he's out for a while, which is annoying. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that front. Josh Otter, bring back Ugochukwu, have him replace Andre at Strasbourg. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Thomas Wilkinson, surely chucking a Guiu on last 10 minutes of a game like that, almost guarantee he'll force a big chance for himself. I like made a joke saying like I would bring Guiu on to try and get Tarkowski sent off, but I actually think there would have been utility in bringing on Guiu just to like run behind and chase stuff and attack knockdowns. Like, I would have been pretty into, as a set of subs, you end up like this, like Felixson and Nkunku here and Guiu for Jackson. Like, I would have been pretty into that as a set of subs, I think at this point we have to slap the dreaded injury-prone tag on Badiashile. I don't know. Let me see. He had the groin problem. I've seen a lot of muscles. Probably. It's a lot. That's hamstring, muscle, adductor, hamstring, groin, muscle, groin. It's a lot of injuries. I miss having Broja to throw in games like this. I don't miss anything about having Broja at all. The guy's not very good at soccer. With how they're playing, Strasbourg is seriously in risk of relegation without Andre. I don't think so. They're like, they're comfortably better than the worst teams who are really bad. It's tight on points because it's early, but they're comfortably better than the worst teams. I don't think, I would not be super worried about them. Andre Santos having 6 league goals is hilarious. Just such a shithouse. Oh, yeah, this guy. Would love to have him in my squad. Wouldn't that be nice? Who'd we rather have, folks? Conor Gallagher or Omari Kellyman? Good questions. People are asking. I got flamed yesterday. Not flamed. Let me find the tweet. It's this tweet because I know people are mad about it. This is what I tweeted. I said, I was told Atleti were rubbish and Conor Gallagher wasn't playing as he starts in an away win over Barcelona, 3 points clear with the game in hand. Funny that. Because I consistently got people would say, hey, Gallagher's not even playing for Atletico and Atletico are bad, as like the defense for this is why you have to sell Conor Gallagher, which is fine. Again, I'm not saying this as a criticism of the decision to sell Conor Gallagher. He had 1 year left on his deal. You were able to get a very good fee for him. He wanted a contract extension at pretty big wages. All those things are true. There's lots of context factors that make selling Conor Gallagher a totally defensible decision. Saying he's bad and that Atletico are bad and that he's not playing for Atletico, 3 things which are all objectively not true, is not the way to make that point. It's objectively incorrect. Like, there are many things to say. There are many, many, many reasons to defend the deal. Like, I can totally look at it and say, given the financial constraints the team is in, and the contract situation and the wages and concerns about scalability to what you expect to be a higher possession team, and that you can say, you know what, we think this is the easiest path forward. That's fine. I would look at it and say, don't buy Dewsbury Hall and don't buy Felix. That's what I would say. But like, you can say that and put it there, but like that doesn't make it true. So I don't know. That's where I'm at on that front. And I thought it was very funny that people were really mad about that. People also, I had a Havertz tweet that people got really mad about, which is always fun because this is true. Because I was looking at Havertz after he scored yesterday. Really funny. Really, there should be like comma after the word consistent. Because if you look at Havertz, bro, this guy's stats haven't changed in 4 years. They're the exact same 4 seasons in a row. It's so weird. Look at this. 4 years in a row. I'm the exact same player every year. Exact same player. It doesn't matter what position I play. It doesn't matter where on the field I play. I do the exact same thing over and over and over again. The exact same. It's the same XG, the same XA. It's the same. Nothing changes. The shape doesn't change. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Havertz doesn't win you big games. Crazy. That was an Arsenal fan too. Crazy take, but whatever. Just to me, it's so funny. Like his stats are so consistent. He takes the same number of shots every single game. His XG per shot is basically the same every single game. He does the exact same number of shot creation. He does the same amount of passing into the paint. He's the same player every year. I just thought that was really funny. The sporting directors have a lot of misses. I don't know if they have a lot of misses, but they have misses. Like, again, if I go and look and say, here are all the deals that I wouldn't have done. Can Spurs score, please? That would be fun. So if you look at the deals I wouldn't have done, I am fine with Esteval. I'm fine with Kendry. I would not have done Pedro Neto. I think he is fine. He's okay. I would not have paid $60 million for a winger who is injured as often as he is and doesn't score or create enough. I would not even a million years would I have paid this fee. I would not have paid this fee for João Felix. I would not have paid this fee for Dewsbury Hall. I would not have done any of those 3 deals. And like, you can complain about those deals, but like, that's 110 million euros. That's so many euros. Callum Walsh, Esteval for that price. I don't know. Yeah, I would. I have no qualms about the price. He's the best U18 player in the world by so far. Like, I think you're eating a lot of upside risk, but like at 34 million, it's like a 50% chance he's a 10 million player and a 50% chance he's like a 100 million player, and it's like probably worthwhile. Paid more for Neto than Bayern did for Elise is a genuine soccer crime. Like, this is, you want to talk about, you want to talk about the summer. Like, Chelsea had a deal for Elise done. They had agreed a fee. They had agreed wages, big wages, admittedly, but they'd agreed a fee and they had agreed wages. And they had tried to reduce the pay by slipping players into the deal, by slipping Trev and Trev, Broja, and Cassidy were the 3 that they tried to get into the deal. And they didn't. Better than Yamal. I forgot about Yamal. Yamal is better. Yamal is definitely better than Esteval. Definitely. But he's, they are the same age. Yeah, Lamal is better than Esteval. That's fine. I forgot about him. But, like, you imagine, instead of these 3, you just have Elise. How do you feel? Very different, right? Like, Elise is a way better player. And they tried to get cute, and they got done. And that's the risk you run. The Jorgensen deal I didn't like because you didn't need to do it. Like, you could have just kept Petrovic. And now we're talking about 130 million I probably wouldn't have spent. I think it looks like a fine deal in hindsight. Wouldn't have paid this much for Penders. I just really need to know how much more the wages were than what we ended up paying for Felix or Neto or Sancho. Let's see. I don't think these are extremely reliable, but they exist. I would be shocked if Neto is making this much. There's no way. I don't think Felix is making this much. Liverpool scored. Okay, of course they did. This is a blowout. Oh well. Gonna lose my bet on that one. I think Felix and Neto are making less than this. Elise, Gallagher, Samu, and 70 million, or Felix, KDH, and Neto. Well, Samu would have been part of Gallagher. Like, it would have been Gallagher for Samu and a bit of money net. I don't think there was a world where Gallagher went and Samu didn't go somewhere, because they couldn't afford Gallagher without selling Samu. It definitely does not make this much. João Felix definitely does not make this much. Maybe he does. I don't know. Dewsbury Hall, that's probably like a correct number. Something like that. Yeah, like it's, I don't know. Penders, like the player, don't like the fee. Anselmino, I have no thoughts on the player, but don't like the fee. This is like, that's huge money out of Argentina. And like, he's fine. And he's a center back. Why are you paying that much for a center back? Sabrina had a post a while back where she basically said, this is the plan. Find good young talent and then overpay to get it. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's stupid, though. Like, when the fee goes from like 5 million, like, so put it this way. Let's say Guiu and Anselmino are the same level of prospect. Which they're not. Guiu is a way better player than Anselmino. He's another one, by the way. They have their wages for Guiu are, this is more accurate. Before they had 100,000 as the estimate, and that was totally incorrect. Or like Caleb Wiley. Like the chance of it's only a horrific plan for the non-elite prospects. Like guys like Esteval are probably like, the risk is high, but like the reward is potentially so high that it's worth it. Like when PSG paid 180 million for like 19-year-old Mbappe, that's huge risk, but it's probably worth it. Like it's probably correctly priced in. Esteval 35 million or whatever, 35 plus 25 with add-ons, like, is probably correctly priced in. But this is the point I was getting to, is like with Anselmino and Vega and Wiley and Penders, your ability to resell these players is gone. If it doesn't work, it's a huge loss on the books. It's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Vega deal, I don't like the player that much. The deal made more sense to me than other deals we've done. Like, they'll be able to sell him for profit for sure. The Wiley deal is a humongous overpay. Wiley was like a fine MLS fullback. Like, the fee should have been $3 million. Huge overpay. I like the Guiu deal. Sancho deal depends how much wages we're taking on, but I don't love that it's an obligation at the end of it. 25 million is fine. He's been better than I anticipated, but I didn't like the deal. I liked Tosin on a free this summer. So again, you go through and like, I don't like most of the deals. But not a lot of them are like huge misses. And then you go to the next year. I like Caicedo. Hated the Lavia fee. Hated it. Liked Nkunku. Palmer, I was kind of ambivalent on. I thought the fee was too big, but I thought he's pretty good. I didn't mind the Disasi one because we were in a very different place center back wise. I liked the Jackson fee a lot. Hated the Ugochukwu fee. I didn't like the player, didn't like the fee. Sanchez I was fine with. Thought the fee was too much. Petrovic I really liked. Thought the fee was too much. Angelo I didn't mind the fee because he had like a real history at in Brazil. He had like a real, like actual backlog of minutes that I was like, all right, sure, 15 million for him. Like you can make money on this. And Chelsea did make money on it. That's all the incomings that season. Enzo, I was pretty happy with. Fofana, I was happy with the player, but didn't like the fee. Mudryk, didn't like the fee. Cucurella, didn't like the fee. Sterling, I said right away, like, I don't like this deal at all because he's played so many minutes. He's going to be bad in 18 months. And he was. I was more optimistic about Koulibaly. I thought he'd age better than he did. I liked Badiashile. I liked Madueke. I liked Gusto. I liked Chukwuemeka. I didn't like Cassidy. I thought the fee was too big. I liked Andre Santos. Hated Aubameyang. Liked Detro Fofana. Did not like João Felix. Didn't mind Slanina. I thought the fee was a bit much. Didn't mind the Zakaria loan. And that's all the deals. That's all the deals since the ownership happened. And like, we just went through all of them. I liked like 6 of those of like 30. So I think there's a lot of misses. And I said this week, I said something like that I think the needle has like swung too far the other way. Like people are too positive now. And I think that's kind of true. Like I think... No, the Aubameyang signing was so stupid. What was it that I liked about Chukwuemeka that I don't like anymore? He was like more exciting. Like it's 2 years ago now, right? Like he was a lot younger. So you had a lot more room towards his ceiling. And his injury history wasn't as bad. And also there was like a more clear plan for like the place he was going to hold in the squad, where I think that shifted very quickly as they added more players in that role, kind of. But I thought that was a really interesting deal. I thought it was still expensive, but I was more okay with it. Also, it was a Neil Bath one, and I was like, all right, I give him a lot more leeway than other people. I think they've done well on outgoings. Ish. Like, a lot of these are buyouts. Which is, like, annoying. I think this window they did pretty well. But they were, like, rescued by Saudi on a lot of these. Like, that's not great. And even these ones are, like... This is a good sale. This is a rescue by Saudi. This, in hindsight, is a pretty low sale. This is fine. In hindsight, not a great sale. A fine sale on value. A pretty good sale on value, but you have to take a haircut on Omari Kellyman coming the other way, who's not even on this list. So, like, that side of things I thought was really annoying. But, yeah, just, like, the look, like... So we're still doing nothing. Cheers. I am very positive in general about all of this, right? Like, I am largely pretty happy with the improvement of the team. I'm not gonna deny that, right? We all know what I say the same every week about top 4 and and everything. Every week. But, like, I don't feel that much better about, like, okay, how are Chelsea going to get better next window? Like, I think Chelsea got better this year, but I don't think any of it is because of this. Like, you could have not, I don't know, like, I don't think that's a huge part of it. Like, I think Neto's better than Mudryk. I guess that helps. But, like, a lot of things I squint at, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Any chance we can rescue Papmatar Shar? I don't know. I don't have very many Sar thoughts. I don't like a lot of Tottenham's players. It's interesting though. I don't know. Not one for me, but maybe. I don't know. I don't really know what Chelsea are going to do. This is the other thing. Like, I went into this summer expecting Chelsea to do very little business. I thought they were like going to think this team is better than it finished last year. Let's make the coaching change and go from there. And then they did a ton of business, which I was not expecting at all. So, including two wingers, which was like two wingers and two tens, which I was like, these are the positions you don't need. You have lots of them, unless you're moving some of them out. Which again, you sent Raheem Sterling to Arsenal for partial wage coverage. I don't know what that's about. Excuse me. So here we are. I don't know. That's my feel on things. We have no idea what to expect in January next summer. I think January will be pretty light. I would expect that we'll see, like, if I go, let me pull these bad boys up. I think we'll see outgoings. Like, I think we'll see like trimming the squad. Like, I think Dewsbury Hall will go on loan somewhere, and I think Cassidy will go. And I think those might be the only two of the like first team guys. And I don't think Chelsea will add anybody. I think we might see Andre Santos come back. Maybe, but I wouldn't say it's likely. I wouldn't say it's likely. I would say it's possible, but not likely. Maybe like 40% chance. But I think January will be pretty light. They were pretty disciplined last year. They were pretty disciplined last year with January. It's the summer. The summer goes nuts. But it's hard. Like, I don't know. It's very difficult to know who is doing what when you have two sporting directors and you have two owners who insert themselves into things. And you have Joe Shields, who's not a sporting director, but also clearly has say on transfers. So, like, you have 5 guys that are having input on transfers. Like, it's very difficult to me to say who is what. I have a suspicion they like the stock trading element. I don't think it's the stock trading element. I think it's that they like their guys. That, like, they want their guys in the team. Like, Shields wants it to be his guy, and Stewart wants it to be his guy, and Winstanley wants it to be his guy. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. We're going to shorten it today because I got stuff to do. And I want to watch the second half of this game. So we will cut it there. Thank you all for coming in. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, I'll throw you a generic Happy Holidays. But I have a lot of fun in these chats. I hope you guys have fun. It's always nice to see like the same people coming in, and then you can have like real conversations. And also they have been there, so like there's a real back and forth of the things you've said before. It's like talking to real people. But yeah, happy holidays to all of you. Wishing you health and a great new year. We'll be back on whenever Chelsea play next, which I think is Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Boxing Day, so Thursday. So we'll be back. I may live stream during the game. We'll see, but I'll do something. I'll do something that day. And then we'll do the game after that, and the game after that. We'll be there for most of the games. And there's not that many midweeks after that, so we'll see how it goes, my friends. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hey, if you offered me second in the table at Christmas, I think we all would have taken it.